Alright, so I was checking out the forums just to see if there's any worthy news articles to make a video on. And this is actually just from a player, just posting a question. It's from X How Rude. And, there's his long thing right here. Basically what his question is how does fleet reinforcements work? He was under the impression that if you have it on auto, the reinforcements come out in order of how you place them. So, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th slots, those would come out in that order. So whoever you put in the 4th slot will come out as your first reinforcement, and so on. Which actually, for the longest time, is how I thought it worked too. Until recently, I realized that's not the case, because I would see that my AI was choosing like a random ship that I know wasn't in the 4th slot. So I never really looked into it. I just figured, okay, I guess what I thought was wrong. But this guy actually asked about that. And, since I thought it was a decent question, since I could relate, I read through, and then that's when I decided I'd make a video. Because actually, one person right here, Wolf Castle, sort of, with a 1, he posted, right here. He's got this little chart. It's a bit large. Can I make this smaller? No. I can make it smaller. Give me a second. Alright, so I got it a little smaller. It's not perfect, but at least to get a full screen. So anyways, he posted this. Apparently this isn't even his, because in the bottom corner it says, by Lysias the Fox. So this thing's been getting posted around. Now here I am talking about it. But anyways, I guess this right here is basically what the AI does. Like what it looks for when it's choosing what to take in for reinforcements. So I just want to go over this because what the heck, I find benefit from this, and I'm sure plenty of other people will. So anyways, number 1 priority up there is what it would pull in first. So even if you had one of these ships in the 7th slot, it's going to pull it in first as a reinforcement. So what do these say? It says AI reinforcement priority tiers. Lower tiers will not reinforce before a higher tier. Within a tier, placement order will determine reinforcement order. Okay, so there you go. So that means basically on this top one where it says priority, I'm not sure which Geonosian ship that is. They all look kind of the same except for the one that has the black front. But let's say you had Sith pilot or whatever, the Sith fighter, the one that they have in the last slot here. Say you had that in the 4th slot though, and then this Geo ship in the 5th slot, then it would just take the Sith fighter. But if you switch those, it would take the Geo. So anyways, based on reinforcement order, tiers can be seen in hardware meta tags now on Swigo.gg. I never go to Swigo.gg. Maybe that would be valuable for me to start checking out. Who knows? Anyways, so yeah. Looks like the top ships that it really looks at is whichever Geo ship that is. I wish I could be more help. I don't know which one that is based on looking. Then you have, what's his name? A Dash Rendar ship. That looks like Clone Sergeant's ship. Or is that Clone Sergeant or is that Rex? I wish these were like clickable and I could really see. I think it's Clone Sergeant. It would make sense. He's a tank. Then there's one of those X-Wings. Don't know if that's Biggs or Wedge. Then you have that's the bomber from the Resistance faction, and then obviously Sith Fighter. Now, Sith Fighter has some notes. It says, changed on August 2nd. Ooh, this year, just recently changed. Wow, this is a pretty new visual. Sith Fighter, reinforcement is a priority. MK6 Interceptor, kill, reinforce. Scimitar, reinforce, none. No idea what any of that's supposed to mean, but okay, there's a note. Okay, I see. Each one of those ships actually has a plus next to it. So for Sith Fighter, it just says reinforcement is a priority. So I guess that means no matter what, that one's going to come in first. Like, based on option 2 up here, how it says within a tier placement order will determine. I feel like, I guess, Sith Fighter overrides that. So even if you had Sith Fighter in the 7th slot, and let's say Dash Rendar's ship in the 4th, it would still pick Sith Fighter because it prioritizes him. Anyways, now for reinforcement, so basically the next one it would pull out is all of those, which makes sense because the Houndstooth, I've noticed before, doesn't come in right away, and I always wonder about that. I'm like, why does it not pull my Houndstooth? Like, that's a tank. Pull my Houndstooth. Like, I usually have Houndstooth right out the gate, but sometimes I don't, and I have it as a reinforcement, and they don't pull it right away, and I'm like, seriously? But it makes sense now, because it's on tier 2, it's not a top priority. Which I never realized before. However, tier 2 has a lot that it'll do. You got, what is this? The Papa Palp ship, Houndstooth, this new one, what is this? It's actually got a plus. MK6 Interceptor. Kill, reinforce. I don't know what that means. Then you got Sith Marauder, the BT, what is that? BTYO, that's the Galactic Republic ship. The Ghost, I think, or is that the Phantom? I don't know, one of those. That looks like Han's ship, Han's Millennium Falcon. What is that? That's the droid, I don't know, one of those separatist droids. Razor Crest. One of the new ships. And then the Rebel version of the Galactic Republic YBL, whatever the heck that thing's called. And then you got Slave 1, which Slave 1 has a little bit of a story down here as well. So Slave 1's complicated. It wants enemies with breach, but also that changes if the capital ship isn't Executor. So it's kind of weird. I guess that means like if you had you're going up against a full team that has breach, but the capital ship is Chimera, then maybe it doesn't have number 2 priority? I don't know. Anyways, then the third that wants to come in is AoE type ships, which I'm not going to go over these. You can see them all. Then 4th priority is damage ships. I guess that's just basic damage. You know, just a little bit of hurt the enemy. And then you have default special, which that's only 3. That's weird that it comes in so late too. Flexible tiers are called, depending on battle state, heal. Is this part of the default special? So heal, very volatile, jumps up and down. Dispel, usually around AoE and damage. Okay, so dispel might be 3.5. Heal looks like it can be anywhere. I see why these are this way. Those ones on the side, team heal, enemy dispel, and kill. I was wondering why those were that way. It means that they can come in anywhere between ranks 3 and ranks 5, depending. So if you need a heal, then it'll choose a healer at this point. If you don't, then it'll choose, you know, whatever's more important. A level 3 character, maybe a level 4. And then kill, usually around or below default special. Okay, so kill, that seems kind of crazy too. It comes in that late, like they're called kill ships. You'd think they'd come in right away. Like, wouldn't that help you? You gotta wait that long for a reinforcement? Basically at like 5.5 position, you know, because 6 is absolutely not. But yeah, that's crazy. Way down like that. You'd think they'd come in super early. Anyhow, though, yeah, around 5 or below. Yeah, and then these default specials. Again, with the this one, too, is kind of weird, because that first ship right there in the default special bracket, that is the tank for the First Order. So again, you'd think that would come in way sooner, maybe at least tier 2. Coming in at 5 is weird. Like, that's a tank. You want that so it can absorb all the damage like Houndstooth does. Houndstooth's a pain in the dick. And, like, you know, that's good, though, when he's on your team to take all those hits while everyone else stays healthy, unless there's a lot of AoE damage going on, but otherwise. Anyways, though, and then the last tier, absolutely effing not. So basically, these ships will never get called in for a reinforcement, which I guess for the most part they do kind of suck. Skimtar sucks. Don't know what those 2 next to it is, but I'm sure they suck. What's that one? Is that Kyle Katarn's ship right there? Apparently it sucks. That first one, though, is Malgus's ship, right? That's kind of crazy that that's in this list. Malgus's ship is a conquest ship. Like, did CG seriously make a ship that's just trash right out the gate that their AI doesn't even call on? Like, okay. And then the one next to it is the TIE Bomber. I'm surprised that's way down here too, because TIE Bomber is decent. I mean, typically I put TIE Bomber right in the opening lineup, because it's like a tank and it hits hard. So that's weird that if you put it as a reinforcement, like, it basically doesn't get called until very last. Anyhow, though, Skimtar also has a side note. It says, reinforce none. Again, don't know what those are supposed to mean. Skimtar reinforce none. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but there it is. The only one that made sense was reinforce priority. Anyways, wrapping up, this is actually a note from CG about how the reinforcement works. This was actually posted in the forums quite a while ago, May 2018, so yeah, 5 years ago. I guess that makes sense why I don't remember this, though, because A, I wasn't making these videos yet, and B, I mean, 5 years ago, geez. But anyways, it says, Ship's AI note. We know there have been some questions around how the AI handles calling in reinforcements during ship battles, and wanted to shed some light on how it works. Due to the importance of board presence and the new reinforcement abilities, the reinforcement AI will prioritize fleet survivability first. Then it checks battlefield conditions to determine if a heal or dispel, ally or enemy, is needed. Finally, offense-oriented ships will be called if the other ships are not available. In an instance where more than one ship can fulfill any of the same conditions, it will call the ship in the leftmost reinforcement slot first. Which basically means, 5 instead of 6 or 7 or whatever. So yeah, basically that is the vague, generic description, and that graphic that I just went over is like, the visual breakdown of what this really means. So yeah, that's all I got. I saw that in forums, thought it was pretty handy. I mean, I was ready to start referencing it for myself, and I thought, why not make a video? Obviously, if I find this handy, a lot of other people will too. So yeah, hopefully this helps some of you. Thanks to Wolfcastle and the actual creator of that graphic. I forgot their name, but I did call it out already. And thanks to you for checking this out with me. And until next time, I said see ya.